don't care how early it is, that's a big win. Meh? How? That's not even the biggest win Toronto's had over New York this month. You're the worst and should be blocked on everything. Let's go! It starts with an A and ends with anxiety. Off the charts levels of passion! That's just a nightmare! With you wherever you are, welcome to LFR. Oh, the first one of the season. I love doing these ones. Leafs win 2-1 in overtime over the New York Rangers. And because of that, victory puppies! It's another $20 for the Humane Society of Durham Region if you want to match to a Humane Society or any sort of animal charity near you. I welcome you to do so. I keep bumping into JVR when I do that. You scored against the Leafs the other day. I should take you down. Actually, how haven't I taken you down? In October, a win is a win is a win, no matter what sport you're watching. But first, have you gotten NHL Fantasy Stars yet? You gotta download it from the Apple Store and on Google Play. It's a fantasy app that you want to play, or at very least I want to play, and you should play against me. And catch these thumbs, because I'm gonna beat you. Leaf heavy team? Good team. One criticism of the app, get Brad Marchand off my screen. Thank you. These low-scoring games hurt you a little bit, but Matthew Knies has been an absolute dog. And you can see your team and where they rank amongst others in the league. So Matthew Knies, for example, is a left wing. He had 4 shots in this one, a goal, a hit, a block. He ranks 6th among all left wingers on the app. And just to see what I get, let's open a gold pack. Luke Hughes, this is interesting. I already have him, but I'm going to train this card up and put it on the marketplace because people are like paying so much for Luke Hughes right now. He is highly sought after. Elias Lindholm, I'm going to train him up and sell him as well. I don't think I could have a Bruin on my team. Timo Meier is having an unreal season on NHL Fantasy Stars. Number 5 out of left wingers. He has 16 shots in 4 games. That definitely helps. You can rip gold packs like me, silver, base, maybe luck out and get an all-star card. You can do specific positions. You could do team packs. More importantly, you can take on myself and producer Drew and decide which one of us is more satisfying to beat. Download NHL Fantasy Stars on the Apple Store and on Google Play, you silly goose. So, it was a low-scoring game in New York. No, it wasn't. It was, you know what? It's early in the season for me, too. It was a low-scoring game in Toronto against New York. Not low event at all. My friends, that was a classic goalie duel. Anthony Stolarz stood on his skull and brain. That was one of the best games he's played as a Leaf. And at the other end of the ice, Igor Shesterkin was pretty gosh darn good as well. I never appreciated more than I have tonight how much Shesterkin is basically like having another defenseman back there with how he handles the puck. I knew Stolarz could do that. Shesterkin is real aggressive about it. Not to mention, Shesterkin is currently running one of the most ridiculous stat lines in the entire NHL. Charlie Lindgren leads the NHL in save percentage. He's played 1 game. He made 35 saves out of 35 shots. He hasn't allowed a goal yet. Jeremy Swayman doing very well. He's only allowed 2 goals in 2 games and gotten 2 wins. But after 5 games, Igor Shesterkin has faced 130 shots and allowed 5 goals. 5 goals. His record is 2-2-1. He has a 962 save percentage. His save percentage was higher before this game. It was like 970 something. The Rangers have more losses than wins and are 500 with a 962 goalie right now. And man, I have like a bunch of Leafs observations. They're not like huge or profound or anything other than Anthony Stolarz is just amazing. But I came away from watching this game feeling more feelings about the New York Rangers. They did so much to change the culture, to change the mindset. They got the shirts, no more BS. They trade their captain away. They get a new captain. Keandre Miller's gone. And like they bring in this whole new cast of characters and get rid of a ton of guys who brought them all the way to the Eastern Conference Final, some of them more than once. And I did not watch this game and watch the Rangers bungle the puck a ton of times and come away with, oh, they're just bad. Oh, they're just not talented. They're clearly not bad and clearly talented. A lot of times in this game, they look nervous as heck and they look so confused. The amount of times they could not break out of their zone. Adam Fox at one point in the third period, he dropped the veil and he looked very frustrated. They can't get out of their own zone. The giveaways at their own blue line, the giveaways in the neutral zone, the yeeting the puck backwards in the offensive zone, and they lose it. They had periods of sustained pressure, but they can't complete a pass. They can't get a decent shot off. They were incapable of a one-timer. They could have had 3 or 4 goals past Stolarz in this one. They couldn't do it, and when they did do it, it was a weak shot or off target. The Rangers are primed for a regression to the mean when it comes to their offense. They're primed to figure this out and then start scoring a bunch of goals. The problem is going to be Shesterkin could win the Vezina this season and still not put up a .962 save percentage. He might plummet to a .925, win goalie of the year, and it might still not be enough. Like Fox, looks pretty good. Zibanejad, talented, looks lost. Miller, Panarin, you'd never know it was a contract year, just money arson. I like the hustle of Sherry. I like Sam Carrick. Can't believe he's still in the league. Good for him. That dude played for the Horacek Leafs. He might have even played for Randy Carlyle. Is Matt Rempe like a good skater now? What happened there? Like, I mean, he could always skate. That's probably a big reason why he got suspended so much. It's because, like, not only is he big, but he's fast and will kill you fastly. Like, they were using him on the power play. I think I saw him on the PK. He's huge. He's net front. He can burn you wide now, apparently. He's taking face-offs. Is that just like kind of a really versatile player to have in your lineup who also might just destroy your opponent in any number of ways? But man, whatever they're trying to do to generate any kind of offense, brutal. Just brutal. And you'd never know it after their first power play of the game, which made me really question the Leafs PK. You're just watching the Rangers go globetrotters on the Leafs, and you're like, uh-oh, this is going to be a long night, and they're probably about to score here. But after that initial Rangers power play, they probably evaporated for like 40 minutes. Now, forget the Rangers power play, the Leafs power play. I'm not going to lie, I am impressed with Leafs Nation for how little of a narrative, how little of a storyline the Leafs power play has been. Because we're coming up on Game 5 now, and the Leafs power play has not scored. In fairness to the Leafs power play, they've barely gotten any power plays. We brought this up in the Steve Dangle podcast the other day. Adam Wild with the unbelievable stat. In the Matthews era, in terms of power play opportunities, the highest the Leafs have ranked in the NHL in terms of power play opportunities for is 18th. 18th. And it was Matthews' first year, if I'm not mistaken. 2017. I remember a few years ago, the Leafs style of play doesn't really welcome a penalty. When? What style of play? They've played the same style that entire time? Babcock, Keefe kinda 2.0, Berube. You're out of your mind. They just don't call them. But anyway, they called one here. And they finally get one. No, it wasn't the whole first unit. OEL was out there. He got a secondary assist here. But it's William Nylander with the shot. Sort of. It was like a shot, pass shot. I'm not even sure what it was. But where was Matthew Nice? Beef in front of the net. It goes off of him. His stick, his arm, his knee, I don't know, him in general, the general ham hock of the bovine. Do bovines have ham hock? I don't know what a ham hock is. I'm not going to... Is it a leg? Is it part of the leg? I don't know. I'm not a butcher from the Bronx in a movie set in the 60s. Anyway, Matthew Nice scores! That's one way to beat Igor Shesterkin, and it's 1-0 Leafs after 1. And it was 1-0 Leafs after 2. Leafs had the one penalty to kill in the second period, and by then, that Rangers power play that we saw at the beginning of the game was long gone. Dude, they couldn't win a battle. They couldn't connect the pass. They couldn't hold the zone. And that Benoit tripping call was the last penalty of the game because, as any good ref will tell you, no one commits infractions in the third period in either direction. It's so funny how that works. I guess guys are just more disciplined when, like, the pressure's higher. Like, everyone just locks in, you know? It's got nothing to do with they just don't want to call anything. Now, it's interesting because we talked about how what's the word? Someone in the chat tonight for the stream said anemic. I'm not going to say the Rangers offense looked anemic. Nervous. For how nervous they looked, we might be talking about this game completely differently had Anthony Stolarz not stood on his skull and brain. Here's a giant save. Here's another giant save. Holy cow. Here's Stolarz making a kick save and a beauty with no mask on, you maniac. Maybe if the Rangers didn't get completely stoned by a goalie who has had a .925 save percentage over the past 2 seasons combined, we'd be talking about their season differently. Or at very least this game. I mean, they did pick up a point. Are Rangers fans going to look at it that way? Hey, we picked up a point. I think they might be grumpy. I think this is the kind of game that you look at and brush off no problem if you hadn't already been shut out at home 3 times. I'm fascinated by how Rangers fans handle this one because as a Leaf fan, yeah, I didn't like a lot of what I saw from the Rangers. They could have easily won that game. Easily. And you could chalk it up to Anthony Stolarz was the best player on the ice for either team. But he would eventually be beaten, and some shady circumstances. Parsonen, I believe it was, interferes with Stolarz. He bumps him, and Stolarz loses his stick. Stolarz then has time to get reset, and he faces a shooter. That shooter, Brendan Schneider, takes a shot, and it goes off of guess who? Parsonen and in. Not unlike the Nyes goal, except this was 5-on-5. Parsonen's first of the season. Berube does take a timeout because they're thinking about reviewing it. I don't know if what they were looking at was the potential high stick, Carlo batting it down with his hand, or if it was goalie interference. Listen, the Leafs video crew, when it comes to offsides, is incredible. They're so good. Such a high percentage of the time, they're right. Goalie interference? Was Stolarz interfered with? Absolutely. What's the limit on how long after interference happens and a goal goes in? We had this discussion years ago when Jonathan Quick, when he was with, I don't even remember what team he was with. I think he was still with the Kings. The Leafs interfered with him. They clearly interfered with him. But then the play continued. There was no penalty call or nothing, and the Leafs passed the puck, I think, to a few different guys, and the Leafs scored. The reason why they scored wasn't because Jonathan Quick wasn't set after the interference. It's because the interference happened, and then he threw a giant fit and stopped playing entirely and just complained and whined, and they ruled, you know what, it's interference. The goal went in a solid 3, 4, 5 seconds after the initial contact. Not unlike this. A large difference being Stolarz did not fill up his diaper to the waistband. The Leafs choose not to challenge. It's absolutely the right call. It's 1-1. My biggest criticism of this game is it kind of felt like the Leafs were just holding on, like, for overtime. I thought the Leafs were the better team through the first 2 periods. Yes, Stolarz bailed them out a few times. Shesterkin did the same. Third period, Rangers look better. They had a lot of ozone time. A lot of hemmed in moments. A lot of moments where I was mad at William Nylander getting hemmed in just for being generally lazy and or irresponsible. But the Leafs held on for overtime. And what's great about Nylander not having a great game, especially in his own end, if that game goes to overtime, they're gonna win. And I'm not saying that because the Leafs are great at overtime. Last season, they were definitely great at overtime. They were 10-2 in overtime. But Nylander, the worse he is during the first 60 minutes, the better he is during 3-on-3. Now, like I said, the Rangers can lose this game. They can. They absolutely can. And by can, I mean, not literally can. I mean, they can lose this game and Rangers fans aren't going to freak out. It was close. You got a point. You got goalied. It happens. How you lose matters. Mika Zibanejad has 1 goal for 1 point in 6 games. Here he is in the offensive zone with a chance to win it on the road. What up, He loses it. Riley helps turn it over. Riley heads up the ice and, like, beautifully set up Matthews and Nylander. And then what did he do? Did he make it a 3-on-1? No, he went to the bench because he's a good boy. Underrated part of the play. It didn't end up mattering, but if it did happen that the puck went the other way, it was a really good and selfless decision. But it's a 2-on-1, Matthews and Nylander. Nylander curls. Nylander toe drags. Where are you going? And I'm sorry, I'm not a body language expert. As great a game and as great a season as Shesterkin is having, you hear the goalie had no chance on this one a lot, and a lot of the time it is over-exaggerated. Igor Shesterkin had no chance. William Nylander sets up Austin Matthews for the tap-in, and look at the celly. Look at the happy boys. Nylander seems even happier than Matthews does. And now we're 5 games in. The Leafs still aren't playing perfect hockey, but they have a winning record now at 3-2, and underratedly took 4 out of 4 points in a back-to-back. Yeah, it was Nashville to start. Yeah, it's at home. 4 out of 4 in a back-to-back is hard to do, no matter how you slice it. The Leafs did well in this game. They wilted in this game, but they hung on, and those points are going to be so valuable later in the season. You coughed up 1, maybe 2 points against Detroit by allowing a last-minute goal. Since then, 4 out of 4. Gotta feel good about that. Questions. Oh, this is the only one that matters. How much fun is it to be a Toronto sports fan? Wow. And to watch Jesse kill it on the other streams. Yes, that's what my channel is known for. How fun it is to be a Toronto sports fan. There, now you've gone and done it. You made me pronounce the second T in Toronto. Listen, playoff baseball gives me heartburn. I actually handle playoff baseball, and I think playoff basketball worse than I handle playoff hockey. But I don't know, I might be wrong, because the Jays right now are in the baseball equivalent of the conference final. I got to see the Raptors go to a championship. That was obviously nerve-wracking. The Leafs haven't been in a series as consequential as the one the Jays are in right now since 2002. I'm not doing all this to bum you out. I'm just saying this is how crazy these games are. Dude, the Jays got a home run, and I learned about it, and 10 seconds later, the arena learned about it, and the fans lost their mind. It's weird. Like, this city loves the Leafs. We love the Leafs. Raptors haven't started yet. We love the Leafs. The Jays, man! They're in the ALCS. They were down 0-2, lost 2 games in Toronto, and now they drag this thing back to Toronto guaranteed by winning back-to-back in Seattle and tying the series up. And watching Jesse succeed. Now, what's better than watching your friend succeed? Jesse is so good at what he does. He's so smart across so many different things. Dude, I remember lots of stuff about hockey games and statistics and jersey numbers and hometowns and whatever. Jesse can bang out a banger hockey conversation and a banger baseball conversation on account of he played very high-level baseball, and he's still a huge fan. He could bang it out about pop culture. He could bang it out about any sport, about any topic, about anything, while running the tech for the thing. If you are not watching Jesse's playoff streams on the SDPN YouTube channel for the Blue Jays, you are seriously missing out. That is quality stuff. That's all I gotta say about that. Last thing, thank you for all the donations that have been pouring in for Easter Seals Ontario. I'm gonna put the link in the description down below. We gotta keep it going. We gotta keep it pushing. My team, Rachel's Raiders, has jumped up to 3rd. We're close to 2nd. We are not close to 1st. Let's get this done. For now, that is it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. Tell your friends. Brand new Steve Dangle podcast tomorrow. And guess what? Jesse is going to be streaming Game 5 of the ALCS on the SDPN YouTube channel. And on Saturday, the Rec Room. We're going to be doing a live Steve Dangle podcast from the Rec Room right before the Leafs take on the Kraken.